Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. I'm glad you could join me this afternoon or this evening whenever you decide to watch. Alright, so you see her request. She's pretty much saying that Christians, they want to take jabs at us when we do not believe, or if we say we do not believe in God, or we don't care about religion. They always want to take jabs at us. And yeah, that's true. I spoke about this many times in the past. Matter of fact, I'm going to be retouching all these topics because I spoke about them before, long ago. And I think those videos are old enough. Those topics are old enough where I can revisit those topics and pretty much give a fresh take on all that stuff. But I totally agree with what she's saying. She's saying that anytime we mention we do not believe in God or their BS religion, the first thing they do is take jabs at us. And another thing they always do is tell us we're going to a lake of fire, or in other words, hell. That's just a nice way of telling someone they're going to hell, they're going to a lake of fire. That's usually their first resort whenever you say something that's contrary to their narrative. Usually the first thing they tell you is you're going to hell. If you say you don't believe in God, because even me when I was a kid growing up, I kind of had my doubts. I'm not a believer in adulthood, but when I was a kid, I had my doubts. And, the older people would tell me that if you don't believe in God, you're going to go to hell. So if you don't grow up and start believing in God, you're going to go to hell. That's what they would tell you. Just by not believing in God, you're going to hell. That's what they would tell you. These people are not perfect. They're not perfect themselves. They're always telling people they're going to hell, but look at what they do. They're very corrupt. And again, I spoke on this in the past. These people that be in church every Sunday, and they be there throughout the week too, because they have service during the week. It's not only limited to Sundays. I grew up in the church myself, but as I matured, I got out of that because I just started seeing all the nonsense and how BS it was. But these church people, they tell us, since we don't believe in God, since we don't uphold their BS religion, they want to tell us we're going to hell. But they're far from perfect, okay? These people are far from perfect. And don't get me started on the preacher. Oh my God, don't get me started on the preacher that be in the church, up there on the stage every Sunday, preaching all this nonsense. Don't get me started about him. Like I said, he's just there to take money. He's just there to lie to people and take their money. And a lot of them are into this. They get into this profession because it's a lot of money involved in it. They know it's a lot of money involved in it. And they know if they get up there every weekend, every Sunday, and hell, even throughout the week, they know if they show up and if they're present, they can get a lot of money out of that. Because people just want to hear some BS about God and about religion. They believe in this nonsense so much, pretty much you can get up there, say whatever you want about God, and you can make a lot of money. And that's why so many of these people go into this field of occupation, becoming preachers and pastors and all this stuff, because there's a lot of money involved. You would be surprised if I told you a lot of these preachers and pastors, they're just like us in terms of their beliefs. They don't believe in all this nonsense. They know it's BS. However, there's a lot of money involved in it. So they don't mind getting up there and feeding these people all this nonsense. So in other words, these preachers and pastors, some of them, not all, some of them, they know all this religious stuff is BS. They know it's all a bunch of nonsense. But since there's so much money involved in it, they don't mind getting up there and lying to these people. All right, because they know they're going to get a bag. They know they're going to get a check. See? Like Kenneth Copeland, somebody like him. That dude don't believe in all that nonsense. Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, it's a lot of them. Okay, it's a lot of corrupt preachers, but these are the main ones. Kenneth Copeland, Creflo Dollar, he has a huge following. Okay, a lot of people attend his church. These guys don't believe in all that nonsense. They're just like us in a way. We have our doubts. We're skeptics. We're non-believers, whatever you want to say. They're the same way. However, they do not portray that image. Okay, they portray this image that they're so holy, and they know everything about God and religion. They can preach it to you. But in the back of their mind, they know it's BS. But since there's so much money involved in it, they don't mind feeding these people lies. See what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I mean when I say these people are far from perfect. They're corrupt themselves, and they supposed to be quote unquote Christians and all this nonsense. They supposed to be quote unquote Christians and all this nonsense, but they're up there pretty much scamming people out of money. That's pretty much all it is. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to call it as it is. They're scamming people out of money. And no, it just does not have to be these big top tier preachers like Creflo Dollar and Kenneth Copeland. No, it can be your local preacher in your town or your city. They're the same way. A lot of them. They know it's a lot of money involved, so they don't mind getting up there telling you the same stuff every weekend. And that's really all it is. If you attended church so many times in your life, like I did when I was a kid, pretty much they just spin the same narrative over and over and over. They talk about the same narrative. It's only so many times you can get up there and preach about something. They always just spin the same narrative over and over and over. But on the flip side, their followers, okay, the people that they preach to, they don't mind showing up every weekend to hear that same narrative get repeated over and over and over. So then when they encounter somebody like us that don't want to hear it, they call us evil. They hurl insults. They call us evil. They say we're going to hell. Because, I was on a podcast. This is probably like a year and a half ago. I was on somebody's podcast and I was explaining how I don't believe in God and all this stuff. And the other individuals started calling me evil and all kinds of unnecessary insults just because I don't believe in God and just because I don't believe in religion. Start calling me all types of names. Evil. What was the word they used? Nefarious. Yeah, stuff like that. Just horrible things, I mean, you don't need to call somebody that, especially if you don't know them personally. Somebody's entitled to not believe if they don't want to believe. If they see it's BS, you shouldn't be so quick to pass judgment on somebody. But that's what they'll do. They'll call you that. They'll say you're going to hell. Like I said, that's their first line of defense. And another thing, these people get so offended. Let me say it like this. Let's say if I'm a religious person, right? If I got all this faith, if I just believe in God so much, I got all this faith. You can't tell me anything about God because I know everything about God. I'm not going to get mad because someone else is a non-believer. See, I'm not going to get mad. And the reason these people get mad when you're a non-believer is because you threaten their ideas. You threaten their ideologies. You're a threat. You come with logic. You come with common sense, something that they lack. And when you bring forth this logic and common sense, you threaten them. You threaten the very thing they believe in. And the only thing that's left to do after that is hurl insults. That's why they get so offended. All these religious people that claim they got so much faith, they just believe in God so much. When somebody like me or you have a discussion with them and then we share why we don't believe in God, why we think religion's BS, oh my God, they be off the chain. They be angry. They be infuriated. They'll hurl insults at you because you're threatening what they believe in. And really, if you threaten what they believe in, then really they don't have all that much faith in the first place. Because if they had all this faith and they were such upstanding believers, then it wouldn't matter what you said in the first place. You see what I mean? If they got so much faith in what they believe in, then it wouldn't matter what you say. If you're a non-believer, they shouldn't care what you say. But see, it doesn't work like that because deep down inside, they know it's BS. Yeah, I said it. All these religious people that claim they got all this faith, deep down inside, okay, somewhere deep down in there, they know it's BS too. They know God is BS. They know religion's BS. So again, when we bring forth our logic and common sense and our reasoning, they get offended by it because they know it's true. They know it's true what we're saying. However, they will never bring themselves to admit it. So the only thing left to do is get mad. See? But that's how they are. I say 99% of these religious people, that's how they are. They get extremely offended. Oh man, I tell you, tell a religious person you don't believe in God, you're a non-believer, and just observe how they respond to that. Observe their facial expression and just how they act. I'm telling you. See? Because they're threatened by you being a non-believer and they know what they believe in is BS. I mean, how can you not? How can you not? They want to say God is good and all this stuff, but like I said in my past videos, we have all this suffering on this planet. We have sickly children that are not being healed But yet and still, they always want to spew this BS talking about God is good, God is all powerful, God is this, God is that. It's not true, because the condition of this world proves otherwise. If God is so good, then we wouldn't have no sickly children and whatever else. All the problems of this planet would be free of all of its problems if God was so good, if God was so great, if God was so caring. Omnipresent, omnipotent, and benevolent. Omnipresent, okay, he's everywhere at the same time. Omnipotent, he's all powerful, and benevolent, he's all loving. Well, I don't see any of that because there's just too much suffering on this planet. I said this before in past videos, but I'm gonna say it again. If God was all these things they mention, then this would pretty much be a utopia. There's just no way around it. If God were all these things and he really cared about you, then this planet we live on would be problem free. It would be a utopia. All right, these sickly children that needs help, God would have healed them long ago. If he's so benevolent and so omnipotent, and he's omnipresent and also omniscient too, okay, all knowing. Just being benevolent, omnipotent, and omniscient alone, he should be able to heal these children, because supposedly he's all loving. So if he's all loving, that means he don't want to see any children suffer. And if he's omnipotent, then he has the power to heal these children. And if he's omniscient, he knows the suffering that these children are enduring. See? So all he needs are those three qualities. He don't even need to be omnipresent. Just benevolence, omnipotence, and being omniscient. So really, that's all he need to be. He just need to be omnipotent. What else did I say? Benevolent and omniscient. That's really all he need to be. And with those three qualities alone, that means there will be no suffering on this planet. See, and this is the type of logic I bring to these religious people, and they get mad because they don't have a valid argument for that. They just don't. They can't come up with an argument without sounding like a freaking retard. See? So the only thing left to do is get mad. And also in her request, okay, the female that requested this video, she's pretty much saying that I guess her brother told her that if she don't have God in her life, that she will not prosper. Pretty much he's telling her that if she don't believe in God, then she's going to be a failure at life. Her life's going to be miserable and all this nonsense. And again, that's another one of their little narratives. They tell you if you divest from God, you're not going to have success in your life. You're not going to have happiness. Let me tell you this. A lot of these people, okay, a lot of these very wealthy people, they don't believe in God. Okay, they don't believe in God. They don't pray. All they do is just work hard, probably scam people. But the point I'm trying to make is they have all their wealth. They have pretty much all their material possessions, things like that. I don't know about their health-wise, but in terms of wealth and material possessions, they have that. These people do not believe in God. They don't pray to God. They don't uphold religion, and they have what they want in life. See, so that's a contradiction right there, because you got this religious person telling you that you're going to be a failure in life, but most of these quote-unquote elites, okay, most of these very wealthy people, they don't believe in God. No, they don't. They might pretend like they do, but no, they don't pray at night. They don't read the Bible. They probably can't even quote anything out the Bible. A lot of them don't believe in God. They, like I said, they just do what they got to do, and that's it. So that's a contradiction right there. And religious people don't want to hear that either. Pretty much whatever these religious people tell you, you can easily destroy their arguments with real world scenarios like what I just gave you. You can easily destroy their little BS arguments. They're telling you that you won't be successful without God. That's not true. All right, there's tons of people that are successful and they don't believe in God at all. And a lot of them are, I'll venture to say, not very good people. They scam, okay? They scam others. They manipulate others. They take advantage of others. Look at these CEOs, okay? Look at these. Just pick any company and look at its CEO. All right, you got the workers way down at the bottom, barely getting by. Okay, they're fighting for the scraps. But you got the CEO way at the top, don't have to lift a finger. He's getting all this money, and he's just sitting up at the top making millions of dollars a year. And with all these millions of dollars he's making, he's not even considering paying his workers more money. The people that contribute to him making these millions of dollars, he's sitting up there at the top, not even considering giving them a pay increase. Okay, so that's what I mean by not very good people. That's what I'm trying to say. But, you know, by definition, these CEOs are people you would consider successful. See what I mean? So, again, a contradiction, because these religious people want to tell you without God, you're not going to be successful. You know, if you're not a good person, you're not going to be successful. That's not true. That's not true. And I'll even venture to say that some of the worst people are the most successful. Yeah, real talk. Okay. Some of the more corrupt people, the scamming people, okay, like these CEOs, people like that are usually rewarded the most, seems like. Okay, you got the regular 9-to-5 people, they're struggling and all this stuff, but they're not the rich ones. They're not the ones that have all the material possessions. They're the ones that's miserable. But the people way up at the top, okay, the corrupt people, the people that are not so good, see, they got all the wealth. You see how that works? Our world operates in the negative vibration. I'll say it again. Our world operates in the negative vibration. So if God was so good, and this goes back to God, okay, if God was so good, if he was so benevolent, our world would not operate in the negative vibration. Our world will operate in the positive vibration, but it does not. Okay, this world is plagued, riddled with chaos, confusion, and just all sorts of bad things, nefarious things. Like they call us, no, this world is nefarious. They call us nefarious for not believing in God. No, this planet is nefarious. Okay, this planet is not good. And this is why I'm an anti-nihilist, because I don't want my offspring to dwell on this planet. Okay, because I know how terrible this planet is with all the bad things that happen. Okay. If we had a God that was actually good, I don't believe in God, but let's just say if God was good. Okay, let's say God does exist and he's actually good and this planet is a utopia, quote unquote, then sure, absolutely. If my child got sick, God's going to heal my child. My child's not going to suffer. See, but I know there's a possibility of me having a kid. My kid just might end up with some kind of sickness. And especially if you're black. Oh, my God. Especially if you're black and you don't believe in God, it hits hard. I'm telling you, because they expect most black people to believe in God and religion, all this BS. And most do. But when you're black and you say you don't believe in God, yeah, people are surprised by that because it's very uncommon. It's very uncommon. I'm talking about in real life. Now, here on the internet, most of us here, we're non-believers, understand? But in real life, it's kind of uncommon to encounter a black person that don't believe in God. Most of them do to some extent. When you tell them you don't believe in God, yeah, you're like a repellent, okay? They just see you as some horrible person. They see you as untrustworthy. They pretty much just see you as a scum of the planet just because you don't believe in God, really. That's how they view you. And again, a lot of these people, a lot of these Christians, these religious people, they're no better, okay? They do terrible things themselves. No one here is perfect, but they feel as though just because they believe in God and all this stuff and go to church every Sunday, that they're somehow better when they're not. Okay, when they're not. A lot of these girls that be in church, they be in the club all night, Saturday night, with random dudes, a different dude every weekend, but they'll be in church Sunday morning. See? You be at club partying all night, which ain't nothing wrong partying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the lifestyle they live. Then they'll turn around and get up and go to church that next morning. See? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They ain't goody two shoes like they try to make themselves. You know, the people that be in church, they try to come off as this goody two shoe, can't do no wrong type of person. No, it ain't true. So just because you're a religious person, just because you're a Christian, whatever you want to call it, just because you're in church every week, that does not make you a good person. It doesn't. All right. It doesn't. And a lot of them, they try to use church. They try to use God to cover up their wrongdoing. Like the example I gave you with going to the club. I remember there was a time I was in church and they were saying that it was a sin. I think they said it's a sin for a guy to have long hair. Now, y'all know, if y'all watch my videos, y'all know I got long hair. My hair come all the way down past my chest. But in church, they want to tell you that, I think they say it's a shame for a man to have long hair. So they come up with all this nonsense, a lot of stuff that they preach. As a guy, what does having long hair have to do with anything? I mean, as long as you're an upstanding person, you're a good person, whatever. What does having long hair have to do with it? See, so it's just a bunch of contradictions, a bunch of just a bunch of baloney. Okay, that's why as at this mature age, I don't care about religion. I don't care about church. Because it's just a bunch of, like I said, just a bunch of baloney, okay? A bunch of phony baloney. None of their narratives make sense. It contradicts itself. Yeah, you have to be a fool to go there and believe any of that stuff. And you have to be a fool to willingly go there every weekend and give some lying preacher your hard-earned money, okay? Because that's all they want. Church is a business, too. Church is a very corrupt business. They're just there for the money. Believe that. You really think they want to get up there every weekend and preach about God, preach about the same thing over and over? No, they're only doing that because, again, they can get money out of it. If there was no money involved, I'll say 75% of these preachers will not be doing it if money was not a factor. Now, the other 25%, yeah, they just genuinely, they live, breathe, and eat religion. So if you did not pay them, they will still get up there and preach. They don't care about the money, the 25%, but the 75%, okay, the overwhelming majority, they're only doing this because there's money involved, and there's a lot of money involved because the sheep, okay, the silly populace, all right, they're willing to give their hard-earned money just to hear about God. See? So, yeah, that's how that works. So, yeah, these preachers are corrupt, and just the church system in general is corrupt too. It's nothing but a business. It's nothing but a business. That's all church is. Get up there, lie to people, pretty much tell the people what they want to hear, and you'll make a lot of money. All you guys that's listening to this video, most of us don't believe in God. If you start your own church right now, you can make a lot of money. If you're a smooth talker and you sound convincing, you can make a lot of money. Just get up there and lie to people. Tell them what they want to hear about God. You'll make a lot of money, just like these other preachers. Yeah, that's how that works. And you know what's crazy? It's kind of funny, actually. What's funny, I've had conversations with these religious people, and there were times where I mentioned that God was evil. Just pretending that God is real. I mentioned that he's evil. If he was real, he's evil. And, they always want to argue me down saying he's not evil, this and that. Or, they go to the shaming tactics saying who hurt you and all this stuff. It ain't a matter of being hurt. It's a matter of being common sense. They want to say God's not evil. Well, how can he not be? Again, going back to being benevolent and going back to being all powerful, omnipotent, omniscient. Let's go back to that. How can God not be evil? If there is a 5-year-old sickly child, but God deliberately chooses not to heal that child, then how is God not evil? Make that make sense. And I tell them just like this, same way I'm talking to you guys, the same way I talk to these religious people. And when I talk to them the way I do, they either get mad or they have no logical response. They want to sit here and tell me that God's not evil. Well, how can he not be evil? He got all this power, but he won't heal a child. So pretend that I'm a doctor. OK, let's factor out God for a minute. Let's remove God from this conversation. Look at me as some kind of doctor, some kind of children's doctor. I have the ability to heal a child's whatever illness they got. Let's say this child's terminally ill, but I can cure this terminal illness. All right. I'm a doctor. I have the ability to do that. So you bring your child to me and You're telling me what the child has and you want me to cure your child and all this stuff. But I tell you, no, I'm not going to do it. No apparent reason. I just tell you, no, I'm not going to cure your child for whatever reason. I'm just not going to do it. Although I have the ability to do it, I'm not going to do it. Now, if I told you that, if I'm the only doctor that have the ability to cure your child, I'm the only doctor that have the ability to do it. But I tell you, I'm not going to do it. Would you not see me as evil? Would you not see me as evil? I have the ability to do it, but for whatever reason, I'm just choosing not to cure your child. Would you not see me as evil? Yes, you would see me as evil. You would see me as an evil, despicable human being for having the ability to cure this child, to end this child's suffering, but I choose not to do it. Well, God's no different. God is no different. He is no different. Based on what religion tell us, based on what these people tell us, based on what Christians tell us, God is no different than the example I just gave you with being a doctor and not curing a child's sickness. God is no different. How many hundreds of thousands or millions of children we have that are sick, but God's not curing them, God's not helping them, but yet and still they want to force down our throat this narrative saying he's so all loving, he's so benevolent, okay, or he's so omnipotent, he's so all powerful. All right, same thing, just different words. They want to force that narrative down our throat. I don't see it. Do you see it? If you do, let me know, because I don't see it. What is God doing? How does he benefit this planet? How is he helping humanity? He's not. So again, when you tell these people this, they get mad and they hurl insults because they know deep down inside, they know what I'm saying is right. Or even you, if you talk to these people and use the same kind of logic I'm using, deep down inside, they know you're right. They know you're right, and everything they believe in is just nonsense. All right. It's almost like false hope, pretty much. I come to that conclusion. They rely on God, they rely on religion to give them some kind of hope because their lives are so horrible and they just need something to provide some kind of relief. And they get that through God and religion. That's the only thing I can come up with, because there's no logical reason why you would believe in something so ridiculous. So it's kind of like, Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy, kids believe in that to give them some kind of hope. Well, it's the same way with God and religion with adults. See? So yeah, that's all I got for this one. I'll probably make more videos on these topics. I do like talking about these topics, and I enjoy making religious people mad with just basic logic and common sense. All right, so y'all let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next video.